Hey Guitar Family friends, it's Nate here and welcome to this song lesson. This is a long overdue and it's definitely my most requested like strumming folk rock, classic rock type song ever. It's Harvest Moon by Neil Young. So we have the chord chart tab and the jam track available for you on guitarfam.com. If you haven't gone to guitarfam.com, go there, create your complimentary account, and you'll get access to all of our free courses, plus the first module of all of our premium courses too. We'd be looking forward to seeing you. Okay, so I have to say before we get into this, I apologize for my voice. It's just the hazards of being a father with a 16-month-old. I don't know if it's the flu or COVID or what, but it's not good, as you can hear, but I wanted to get this video out for you guys this week. All right, first off, this song is in drop D. So if you want to do it like this recording, just drop your low E string down to a D, whole step below, right? If you don't want to do that and you just want to play in standard tuning, just make sure that you don't play the low E string anytime you play a D chord. That'll keep you safe. And you have to adjust a few of the chords here and there, but just follow, like for the G's, just play a normal G chord, open G, and that'll keep you from having to do drop D. But I would recommend doing it. It's fun, and it's good to be able to get used to playing and drop D. It's pretty common tuning. Let's see. The second thing we need to go over is the key of D. Since we're in the key of D, the D major scale is spelled D, E, F sharp, G, A, B, and C sharp. The 1, the 4, and the 5 in the key of D major that occur naturally are D major, G major, and A major. And the minors are the 2, 3, and 6 there. And all the chords in this whole song are diatonic or occur naturally in the key of D. So this is a really great study for the key of D if you want to get more familiar with the key of D and working on your music theory in general. All right, the last little preliminary thing that we need to go over is just a swing feel. I have my metronome here at 113. And if I had straight 8th notes at 113, it would sound like this, right? You can see my straight 8th notes there. And the strumming would sound like this. But this song is swung 8th notes, and all I did was I selected triplets with the middle triplet missing, and that gives me a swung feel, and that's what you want for this song. That's super critical. If you can't do that, the song's never going to sound right. So if you need help with that, or if you need to work on that, this is a great way to do it. Just take your metronome. This app's called Tempo. It's free. It's the best thing I've found for this. And you can switch back and forth between just straight 8th notes and then swung 8th notes. Right? And if you need extra help with this, you can go to guitarfam.com and create your complimentary account and go through the course called The Strumming Doctor. The first module was free for everyone, and in later modules it gets to how to really develop a swing feel really well. So that's available for you. Okay, I should also say here that if you're just starting to get the swing feel down and you can't play all the stuff that's in the exact tab on here, what I would recommend doing is just going for the swing feel with your right hand and just going with the natural open chord. So like when it says D, just play an open D chord. And when it says E minor, just play a regular open E minor chord. And just work on getting through the progression with the swing feel. And that'll help you a lot when you start to go through and learn the exact riffs and voicings and things we'll be using here. All right, there are only 4 main parts to this song, but they're pretty specific because of the opening riff, the little theme, and then the chord voicings change a little bit for your regular chords because we're drop D, so we have to worry about those too. Let's go over the riff first. It starts off with just kind of an upstroke as an pickup beat in the first measure into the actual riff. So you have 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and it's kind of a precursor to get into the riff. So and that's just on the low couple of strings. I'm not being too specific, but the way you want to get set up for this is your 3rd finger on the 11th fret of the G string and your middle finger on the 10th fret of the B string. And when you play that whole chord open, it's a really pretty D chord. So that's going to be the main kind of foundation for this riff. That's where you want to be set up. Let me just play the whole thing for you and then we'll get into it. Okay, so it's mostly strumming, some dancing around with your fingers. So that initial up, and then on 1 you go just the D string, low D string, or a low couple strings. I'm not being too picky about it again. And then you have another downstroke on the D, G, and B strings. And again, I'm not being too picky about here. These are kind of generalizations for what's going. And then another downstroke on those 3 strings, but you put your pinky down on the 12th fret of the B string. And leave your other 2 fingers where they are because you're going to need them there. And then an upstroke on the top 4 strings, but you lift your pinky off. So that first measure is... Okay. again. I'm not being too picky. I'm just kind of strumming down, 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 up. And as I'm playing this, my hand is constantly moving. This is my engine with those swung eighth notes, so I can have an underlying grid for the riff. And I just dig my pick in whenever I need to, right? So at the end of this phrase, I have an upstroke that's a dotted quarter note. That means I have a quarter note left in that measure, and I just go down, up, a little fake down, up, where I'm not hitting any strings. And then I hit a down on the next measure on the low D string, or the low couple D, lowest couple strings, it doesn't matter. And then I put my index finger down on the high E string. Leave these two fingers where they are, remember. With an upstroke sets 1 and, then a downstroke not hitting anything, 2 and, 3, downstroke not hitting anything, and then on 4 and I finally have a down, up. And that's all with the same chord there. So it's really good to be able to sing that do da 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 da. You can see how my hand is just constantly going the whole time, so I don't have to worry about my timing as much, right? So it's really good. Listen to this a lot until you can kind of sing the riff in your mind, and that'll help you play it a lot easier. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and. All right, so there is some variation on this riff as he plays throughout the song. And the first way that we did is the main way. Right. The second way that he does is just. He just puts an extra pinky down there on the riff. So the third way that he does it, extra pinky down and extra pinky off, all while maintaining these two fingers. So you can do any of them. It's so random. When I recorded the playthrough for this, I just did whatever I felt like as far as those three things. And you can do just the first one too. So first one, second one, and third one. It's just varying degrees of busyness for that riff. All right, that's the main riff of the song. That's in the intro and a few other times where you re-intro. And during a couple other parts too, you'll see as we go. But when you get to verse 2, we switch from like a more riff-based playing to just an E minor chord. And since when a normal E minor chord is like this, if we drop D, we have to make the E string up 2 frets from where it would be our whole step. So I'm playing the 3rd fret of the low E, A, and D strings to play in E minor. And you can do that with 1, 2, and 3, or 2, 3, and 4, whichever one you like. But that's the E minor that we need for this shape, or for this tuning, I should say. And we have 4 measures of just an E minor with swung straight 8th notes. So that's 4 measures. And I really am, you could do it straight. I don't mean straight, like not swung. I mean hitting all the strings every time. But what I really like to do is go 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So on the 1 and the 3, I play the lower strings, 1 and then 2 and 4, I play the higher strings, just so you get kind of a drum beat feel. If that's too much for you right now, that's okay, just play all 6 strings, concentrating on the swing fill, but you will really want to shoot for them. And I'm accenting the 2s and 4s too. Okay, that's the first half of kind of the phrase for the verse. The second half is another riff over a D chord. So we switch to a D chord and we come down here and play kind of a normal D. And since we're drop D, we can play our low E string and the A string. for the first little bit. And I'm not too specific about that. Again, I could play either just the low E string by itself or the bottom few strings, but it's a downstroke on a quarter note, and then 4 swung 8th notes, and then a light mute. So 1, 2, and 3, and mute on 4, and then upstroke on the and of 4, and that carries out to the first 8th note of the next measure. So, and then we have a quarter note on the and of 1, but we're going to play a D major 7, and I'm just going from a regular D major into a flatten out my finger to cover the second fret of the top 3 strings, the highest 3 strings, to make a D major 7 chord. And that's an upstroke that lasts a quarter note. After that, you have another upstroke, but you have to move your index finger over to bar the second fret of the D, G, and B strings. And I'm playing the A string there too, with an upstroke all 4 of those strings. I'm not too particular about exactly which strings I'm hitting right now. After that, you have that's for a quarter note too, so you have another upstroke on the and of 3. But you leave this intact, this A shape you have here, even though we're still kind of playing over a D chord, and then you put your second finger down on the 3rd fret of the B string, and your 3rd finger down on the 4th fret of the D string, and that gives you this, really it's a D chord using a C shape. If you look at that, you could see the C shape in the bar. We're just playing a D chord, because it's just this top part of the D chord, and we're adding in this. So really work on this by itself outside of the context of the rhythm first. Just go D is your first shape, D major 7, and then you have to hop over here with this A shape, and then put this down. I would really work on just getting that down first. And I had this all just under a D chord. It's just like a riff over a D. I mean, you could think about it as a D, D major 7, then moving over to an A shape, and then back to a D. And then the rhythm for it is. Okay, one more time. 1, 2, 3, 4. Time 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and when you put that with the E minor, that gives you the whole verse. So here you go, 1, 2, 3, 4. And I should mention it's 4 measures of the E minor, and then you do that riff with the D, which is 2 bars. You do that twice if you follow the repeat signs. I try to make this tab and chord chart as efficient as possible, so really pay attention to the repeat signs on here. So for the verses, you play that entire E minor, 4 measures of E minor, along with the new riff over the D chord twice, so you end up with 16 bars. Let me just play the whole thing for you for every verse. 1, 2, 3, 4. Top, verse riff, right? D. Again. Okay, from there you go to what I call the pre-chorus, and it's kind of the same idea here. You have 4 measures of a chord with just straight 8th note swung strumming, and it's a G6. And this particular voicing, all you have to do is use the same fingering you did for your E minor, 2nd fret of the low E, A, and D strings, and move it up to the 5th fret. And then play all 6 strings to get what we call G6. And just think of this as a normal G chord if you're just going through the regular strings. If you're making this, if you want to make this and you're not down tuned to drop D, just take your pinky off of your G and that'll give you a G6. But this is what we want if you are drop D. You can just play this for 4 measures, straight eighth notes. 2, 2, 3, 4, 3, 2, 3, 4, 4, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and from here we go back to the main riff of the song, but we only play it twice. Then we go back to our G6. Do this whole thing again. 2, 3, 4, 3, 2, 3, 4, 4, 2, 3, 4. Then go back to the riff just twice. So it's the same format for the verse and the pre-chorus. You have 4 measures of just a swung eighth note rhythm on a chord, and then a riff for 2 measures. Then you repeat the whole thing again, and that's what it ends up being to get you into the chorus. Now the chorus changes quite a bit. It's just a strumming pattern between 2 different chords. And the first chord we're going to start out on is just an A7 sus4. So if you know an A, you can make an A7, and then you can just move this up 1 fret on the B string to make an A7 sus4. So you end up with this fingering that I like to use because of the chord that's coming next is just an A7. So you can put an A7 on, and then just put your 3rd finger on the 3rd fret of the B string and leave this here. That way it'll cover the next chord as well. And the strumming pattern we're using here is this down, down, up, down, 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 up, down, up. So you have 2 measures of the A7 sus4. So down, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up. And make sure to keep this hand going no matter what. Down, then move to your A7 and do that once. Down, down, up, down, up. And to match what's going on with the song, the next measure, still A7, but we have just 1, 2, 3, 4. Just 4 quarter notes to match the accents that the whole band is kind of doing together. And that's the main phrase for the chorus. You just do it twice. So let me play that for you. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and I accent those quarter notes just because it's kind of a nice build into the re-intro of the song. So the first time you get to the end of the chorus, you're going to see some words called dal segno, or I can't pronounce it, it's Italian. Dal segno, and that tells you to go up to the sign at the beginning of the piece of music, which is in the first full measure. You'll see that little squiggly sign. It tells you to go up there and play everything you just played again all the way through to where you stopped. So what you do is play the intro again, play verse 2, play pre-chorus 2, and then play chorus 2 again, and that'll get you back down to measure 20 on the chord chart. And that'll get you in. As soon as you play that second chorus all the way through, all you're going to do is play the intro again, and then you go into the harmonica solo, which is a little bit different, but the parts aren't different. For the harmonica solo, after you've done the re-intro, you do the riff 4 times, right? And then you go into the harmonica solo, which is just a measure of, 4 measures of G6 straight. 2, 2, 3, 4, 4, 2, 3, 4. Then you go to this riff twice, and back to a G6, 4 measures. 2, 2, 3, 4, 3, 2, 3, 4, 4. Then you go to the main riff of the song. From there, just go to the chorus, A7 sus4. Again. And that's a ramp up into the outro of the song. And don't make the mistake I just made. I accidentally hit the low E string a little bit while I was hitting that A7 chord. You can just rest your thumb over that low E string to make sure you don't hit it, and work on your aim with this hand too. But after you play the chorus the last time, chorus 3, you just go back to that intro of the song. It's labeled outro here, obviously. So 4 times. And then you end on a big D chord, a little bit delayed, a little bit retardando there, and you'll hear it, and that's all of the song. So let me just go through the full roadmap for you. You do the intro, which is the riff 4 times, and then you go through verse 1, which is E minor to D riff, the other D riff, and you do that twice. And then you go to the pre-chorus, is G6 to the other D riff, and then G6 again to the other D riff. Again, in the pre-chorus, you're only doing the riff twice instead of 4 times like the intro. The chorus is just that A7 sus4 for 2 measures to A7 for 2 measures, and you do that twice for the chorus. And then you'll take the dal segno sign back up to measure 1, and then play everything you play all again through chorus 2, and then you're going to do a re-intro, which is the riff, opening riff 4 times, and you'll go G6 for 4 measures, then this riff twice, and then G6 for 4 measures, and then the opening riff twice, and then you'll play the A7 to A7 sus4 to A7 riff again for the chorus 2 more times, and that'll get you to the outro where you just play the main riff of the song a total of 4 more times and end on that D chord. And just in case any of you guys were wondering how to do the little harmonic riff, that's I think on the verses, it's just, at least that's the best way I've come up to do this. I'm just doing harmonics on the 12th fret. Just touch the strings right over the fret, right over the top of the fret, but don't press down on them. Let's come down high E, B, G, D, and then same thing, but I have to reach back here to the 7th fret of the D string with my index finger to get the right note here. So that'll get that for you. Okay, that's it for this video. Leave a comment below letting us know what other songs you would like to see here on the channel. And don't forget to go by guitarfam.com and create a complimentary account where you can access all of our free courses and the first module of all of our premium courses too. Here's the full play along for this song.
Just like children sleeping, we could dream this night away. But there's a full moon rising, let's go dancing in the light. The music's playing, let's go out and feel the night. Because I'm still shine.